may not be suitable for all audiences.
This is my friend Tommy. Tommy, say hello to the nice people. Hello. Ha! Isn't he great, huh?
Art 101 with Mr. Burgher. Scholars, welcome back to another episode of Art 101 with me, Mr. Burgher. Now, as you might know, I'm a professional artist. I'm a master educator, and I'm here to try to provide you with the best in art historical content. If you like that content, like, share, subscribe, do all of those things. It helps with the algorithm. It's all free of charge, and you might as well, because the majority of you that are watching have not yet subscribed. So jump on board. We'd love to have you, and it's very, very helpful.
You seem to always be deep in thought.
Throughout art history, there have been art exhibitions that have changed the trajectory of art and the direction of things, and none more so, perhaps, than the Impressionist Art Exhibitions that took place in Paris. We're going to talk about one of those, actually the third. Go back, take a look. We're doing a whole series on it every month for the rest of 2023. We're going to hit one of the 8 shows. There were 8 of these. As you know, we're on number 3. So let's jump on in and take a look. Following the second of what would have been considered the art exhibition of the Impressionists, the artists agreed for a third show in 1877, an exhibition of painting that took place from April 1st to April 30th, again of 1877. And this would be the first time that the Impressionists actually called themselves the Impressionists, an insult that was given to them via Louis Leroy, an art critic that compared Monet's impression Sunrise to doing an impression of a painting rather than being an actual painting. And again, they took that insult and made it their own. And in this show, they would first become the Impressionists. Although the artist would be somewhat criticized in the show, Monet's work of the train station was very much praised by many, and the entire series was purchased by Paul Durand Ruel, a very prominent gallery owner that pretty much was the guy behind the Impressionists getting recognition more widely and that sort of thing.
Next stop, Cook. Kabanga.
Gustave Caillebotte provided much of the funding as he had done in the previous show in 1876 and was very much adamant that this exhibition should take place. There was some disagreement on how they would get there, but we'll lay all of that out as we go here. So, Monet and Degas, they had a disagreement on the addition of new artists into the show. Degas wanted all kinds of new people to be brought in, new revival, new blood, that sort of thing, but Monet felt that unknown artists would dilute the impact of the group and they would lose momentum moving forward. Camille Pissarro had very much also stirred the pot in the group by wanting them to promote some social causes and become a little bit more political, but most of the folks recognized that might not be a great idea. There was also some tension between Degas and Caillebotte over the organizational control spilling over from 1876. Now, Caillebotte was something of a peacekeeper to the somewhat control-hungry Degas, who also believed that the artists involved should no longer be submitting their work also to the official Paris Salon. Now, most of the others had agreed to this, with the exception of Paul Cézanne. Cézanne would return kind of as a late entry into the show and had already submitted things to the Salon, but in this Impressionist exhibition of 1877, Cézanne would show 3 watercolors as well as some oil paintings.
Oh, wow, I love him.
The third Impressionist Art Exhibition would have fewer artists than they had ever had, with only 18 artists represented. Those 18 artists had contributed 241 works of art, and in the official program of the event, the artists that were listed include Gustave Caillebotte, Adolphe Félix Cals, Paul Cézanne, Frédéric Coudray, Edgar Degas, Armand Gallamin, Frédéric Lemay, Leopold Levert, Apollonius Moreau, Claude Monet, Ludovic Petit, Camille Pissarro, Pierre-Auguste Renoir, Henri Rouart, and Alfred Sisley. Now, if you're playing the home game, you're going to know that there are only 15 artists to recognize there. And I said just a second ago there were 18. Now here's why. There were errors that were in the official catalog. Now, we know that the last artist to join the exhibition was Bertha Morisot. Obviously not in the catalog, but she was very much on the fence after the 1876 show, as there was some negativity about her work that was reviewed, and she was very much singled out. However, Renoir, Degas, and Caillebotte all convinced her that she should enter the show, with her most notable work that was entered in that exhibition being The Psychic Mirror, created the previous year, and she very much received some great praise and positive feedback from the press for that particular work. But again, that leaves two other artists that we don't know who they were in the exhibition. Their works weren't included in the catalog, and they were also not listed in the list of artists. It would be the role of Renoir, Monet, Pissarro, and Caillebotte who would have taken the responsibility of hanging the show, and once it was hung, they were all set to go and ready for the public to finally be able to recognize the greatness of the Impressionist artists.
That's right.
Now, wouldn't that have been great? But that's not exactly how it went down. The public was much more receptive to this work than it had ever been in the past with their previous exhibitions, but it was still attacked by the press and the critics, and there was still a demographic of the public that still did not appreciate the work, and that demographic was the upper higher class wealthy individuals who looked down on the fact that a lot of these Impressionists were painting common people, common subject matters, everyday things, and in particular they looked down upon Cézanne, they looked down on Pissarro, and there are some accounts of those wealthy individuals coming in and viewing the show and demanding a refund because of this commonness, this everyday subject matter that just wasn't representing a Paris or a France or a life that they recognized. Now, I don't know if they got their money back, but critics like Emile Zolda would be very supportive of Cézanne while heightening one individual as the leader of the group.
Hey, Norm, you ever hear of a fella that went by the name of Claude Monet?
Absolutely. That artist was Claude Monet, who would stand out as the unofficial leader of the Impressionists at that point. And that was purely from a outside-in look rather than a organizational or official title or anything like that. On April the 30th, 1877, the show would end with some of these artworks being sold in an auction-type format. Now, they had had good attendance, they had made some cash off of some sales, they had done pretty well with the press, they had won over some of the public, but unfortunately, they had sold this work at auction at disappointingly low prices. So they would consider this, the third exhibition of the Impressionists, a partial success. Again, the crowds and the comments were pretty good, but the sales had really not picked up. Fortunately, this would not be the end of the Impressionists, and we will see them again in the next installment where I review and go through the play-by-play of the fourth Impressionist exhibition. Stay tuned for that one. Man, I love telling that story, hopefully as much as you enjoy hearing it. Appreciate you for watching along, the likes, the shares, subscribes, and any of the interactions that you provide. Love to hear from you. And we'll see you next time. You have yourself a good day.
could learn that.